Martin Luther said, "Faith is a living, daring confidence in God's grace, so sure and certain that you could stake your life on it 1,000 times." It was true 490 years ago. It's true today in the lives of ELCA members and congregations all across the country and around the world. Not many years ago, First English Lutheran in Columbus, Ohio had seen a long, slow decline.
We got to the point where we were ready to close the doors. We were going to do a wedding for one of the sons of the congregation, and the day after that, we were planning on padlocking the doors. What they had been doing was trying to stretch the dollars out, trying to do just enough to keep things open, keep things running, and make the money last as long as they could. I asked them to try and flip that and just simply say, we're going to go all in. We're going to take the risk, we're going to take this leap of faith and do what we think God is calling us to do. God made it happen. Each step along this way when we've really needed something, God has made somebody step up. God has provided us with the funding, the resources, between the grants, the friends, and the congregational giving. It's given us enough to keep going.
I have actually stepped out on faith, and God is showing me that this is what I'm supposed to be doing.
The welcomingness of this church is one that allows me, that wants me to come back every Sunday, that wants me to come back every Thursday or every Saturday for the children's camp, because they accept us who we are.
I've been at First English for 57 years. This is a family here, more of a family than a member.
We started doing a breakfast here early on. Then we included a worship service to that. We started getting families coming in. So we went from a dozen folks here, one service on Sunday morning, to 2 services, breakfast and worship service with anywhere from 75 to 150 people, and then a second, more traditional Lutheran service with somewhere between 30 and 50 people.
We're serving in an area that is really full of folks experiencing deep poverty. We're across the street from a homeless shelter. We have a lot of folks living on the street or in cabs of trucks, but they have begun to worship with us. Living daring confidence of grace means putting structure second and tradition second. I think this neighborhood gives us that opportunity to welcome anybody and to make sure that people understand that what's inside of every one of us is very important to God, and the grace is there.
If we shut this down in this community, we lost. I'm telling you, because they believe in this church. The babies need you, the older people need you, and the main thing, the community need this church. So that's what keeps me going, man, to see them. That's what's happening.
In 2011, 3 women were awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. One was a Lutheran woman named Leymah Gbowee. Her story is rooted in the living, daring confidence of Lutheran missionaries more than 150 years ago.
They traveled thousands of miles by ship, sent by the United Lutheran Church in America, predecessor to the ELCA. They planted the Lutheran Church in Liberia. It was dangerous and difficult. 2 missionaries died of malaria within a week of arrival. But the church took root and became the first Lutheran church body in Africa.
The ELCA has been with Liberia all along. The missionaries that first came here, that started these things, came from the ELCA. The ELCA has continued to make them prosper.
Ministry grants, missionaries, and ELCA World Hunger are key areas of involvement in Liberia today. Nobel Peace Prize laureate Leymah Gbowee was an ELCA International Scholarship recipient.
I led a group of Liberian women called the Women of Liberia Mass Action for Peace to peacefully protest the end of the Civil War. We use prayer, we use picketing, silence. Those women's faith never shook. They were very clear and resolute that even if we're here for 100 years, something good is going to come out of this.
The prayers and protests led to peace talks. The peace talks brought an end to 14 years of war, and the church that helped birth the peace movement is flourishing.
The Lutheran Church is holistically responding to the needs of human beings.
Living daring confidence in God's grace. I don't know that I could say I live that way. I think Liberians do.
Living in their covenant means a lot to me. This parish is spread out. We have to walk 5 hours before reaching there just to carry the gospel to the people. We also teach them how they can also develop within their community.
I'm just grateful to ELCA for the level of relationship, partnership that we are having.
I traveled to Irving, Texas to be with members of Santa Maria de Guadalupe Lutheran Church. Participating in their weekly healing service gave me a deep sense of the spirit-filled worship that permeates their life. The passionate proclamation of the good news of Jesus Christ draws people in and sends them out.
We have learned to welcome everybody in different ways. First of all, we understand that all of us are immigrants. And once we come to a new country, we're going to feel lonely. So we, the people in Santa Maria, open our arms, we talk to them, they feel they have hope to continue working, living, and even serving in this congregation.
We are not the traditional way to be a Lutheran. It's a new thing, music. People, tradition is different because people feel welcome. That's why it's the explosion.
First day of Santa Maria was on Palm Sunday. There were 4 members that day. We grew so fast, so we started dreaming to have our own place. Back then, we just had $360. So 3 of us, we put money together and we give a down payment for this land.
I do a lot of work with the community leaders, city council, firefighter, with the police, to be the voice for the voiceless.
One of the biggest things here in Santa Maria is the comida, the dinner. That's this very special time.
Para compartir con ellos, para saber cuáles son sus necesidades, todo eso. Para eso nosotros lo hacemos, para saber quiénes somos los miembros, conocernos.
We didn't have no credit, we didn't have no background. We was a baby, and it was kind of hard for us knocking the door in ELCA. Hey, we need $1 million loan to build this. But we knew it's going to happen. How it's going to happen, we didn't know.
Some Lutherans say, well, you name the church in Maria de Guadalupe. That's not Lutheran tradition, that's right. We bring this community and we put them and live in grace and peace and justified by faith. So those people come and they feel full of grace here. I do believe that is to be a Lutheran. Santa Maria is open the door to the Hispanic community. ELCA is going to be big.
The story of Santa Maria is our story. From the first English church in Columbus to the first Lutheran church in West Africa, we are the church that shares a living, daring confidence in God's grace.
The gift that the ELCA gives us is partner. We know that we are not alone. They've rolled up their sleeves, they've worked side by side with us.
Living there in confidence, to see the obstacles as an opportunity.
The Lutheran Church has a very bright future.
The Evangelical Lutheran Church in America, the synods and congregations. We are one body, we are one church.